What's up out there? This is episode 1 in what I hope to be a 10 episode series, 10 or so episode series. What I want to do is go through the campaign with a Templar, and I want to show you how I make the decisions that I make as I go through it. Now, I am not going to POB warrior anything out. What I want to do with this initial start is to explain the decisions that I'm making and why I'm choosing a particular ascendancy. So for this whole league, I've been trying various ascendancies out. I wanted to try as many different ascendancies as I can. So I've had more than a couple chieftain variants out there. I kind of stalled out with a berserker. I didn't get very far with it. I've got a jug out into the end game, or level 80 or 90, somewhere in that realm. I've got a gladiator and a slayer out there. The champions kind of stalled out. I stalled out with a warden. I don't remember where I've left off with these two. I definitely got to the end game with at least the, oh God, what is this? What do we got here? The trickster. I worked on a saboteur for a while. I'd like to do an assassin. I've got an idea for one. The witch, I think I got an occultist, but I don't think I've got either of the other two. And I have not done a Templar at all. So looking at the Templar, if we look at the Guardian, I still don't have all these memorized as to which one's which yet, which is kind of why I wanted to go through and do all these different ones. Now, as I say, I'm not going to POB warrior this out. We are sitting in POB right now because I want to at least look at the ascendancies, and you can't do that in the game until you get to the part where you're going to the ascendancy. So this is just to explain where I want to take this build. Now, I had the idea for doing this series, which we're going to see where it goes. It may not get through the campaign. Who knows? I have no idea. This is the very first episode. This is basically just sitting down with an idea and trying to explain how I'm getting to the idea that I'm going with. So I want to do a Templar, and we have 3 choices with Templar. Guardian looks cool. The draw for Guardian would probably be the Sentinel of Radiance. I think I want to try that out. I still have never tried this. I have ran a Guardian because I remember his voice lines. I know I've ran a Guardian. I just don't know what build I've used with it. It's nothing memorable, so it's probably something I ran and didn't get very far with, or I don't know. I just never got very far with it. So Templar in general, I want to try. Sentinel of Radiance sounds cool. Some of this other stuff, I'm not gravitating towards linked targets and stuff like that. This sounds like maybe it'd be better for group play or something, or specific. I don't know. Radiant Crusade and Unwavering Crusade would probably be 2 of the ones that I would take. And then after that, maybe Radiant Faith and Unwavering Faith, I guess. I'm not sure. Some of this other stuff sounds a little niche, and it doesn't sound like anything that I want to use. Hierophant sounded cool. I was very interested in Hierophant. I thought this would be a really good, you get a little extra mana. I'm not sure exactly what Transfiguration of Mind does. Sometimes they put it in the tooltip here, but I don't see it. But this one seems more brand focused or totem focused, and I'm not interested in doing brands or totems. I did like this Conviction of Power, the +4 minimum endurance and +4 minimum power charges. That sounds really cool. And then the +1 maximum. If I was going to take that, I would try to figure out some way of getting all the way down here to Disciple of the Unyielding somehow, maybe. I'm not sure. But this sounds like a build that I would want to try. I'm not sure. Like if I was going to do a totem build or what was we looking at over here? I don't know. Brands. If I was going to do some kind of brand part. I see why people use Hierophant a lot. But I think what I want to do for this build that we're looking at today, or what we're going to start, is going to be an Inquisitor. So fanaticism grants spells you cast, more cast speed. That sounds kind of cool. I might go into Instruments of Zeal, Instruments of Virtue. That sounds cool. Consecrated Ground, I'm not sure if I want to deal with that or not. It sounds cool. Augury of Penitence probably is going to be what I'm going to go for, because we're going to go for a lightning build. So I've tried poison, bleed, fire, cold. The only thing I haven't tried is lightning. So with the Templar, I want to try a lightning build. So I'm pretty sure Augury of Penitence is what we're going to go into, and probably try to go into some critical strikes. So I could see taking Inevitable Judgment, Augury of Penitence. I could see going this route, and then maybe, I'm not sure which after that. But at any rate, I wanted to explain why I wanted to go for this ascendancy, and it's easier to show this ascendancy in POB. I barely spend time with POB at all for the first, say, 3, 4, 5 acts. I may POB some stuff and try to choose between things, but for the most part, I don't do a lot of POB stuff. Looking at this ascendancy, we've got increased elemental damage. We've got a lot of increased elemental resistances and damage coming through here. We've got access to like Divine Judgment. There's Divine Wrath. And the skill that I want to try, I don't remember the name of it, but it's got like, I think it's got a minion, so we'll be able to do some minion stuff. So at any rate, let's jump into the game and start off. Okay, so we are on the shore, and basically the first thing I do is move that over, grab my item. We need to change my item filter back to the leveling one so that I see everything. So this is a very simple filter that just shows everything in the game. I don't try to exclude much of anything early on. I just basically show it all. And I like to, let's see, set that to move only and set my mana potion over to socket 3. We're just going to run in here. What do we get? Glacial Hammer. So we might be able to freeze what's his head when we get in there. So I imagine what I'm going to do to edit this out is to show probably the major decisions. I'll probably cut out a big chunk of the mid part so it's not some hour-long video. Typically, it takes me about an hour to get through each campaign section. We can freeze him. We can get a couple of shots in. Keep him frozen. Keep doing damage. I kind of wonder if you can one-shot him, if you can keep him frozen throughout the whole thing. I'm kind of curious of it. But with Glacial Hammer, you can keep him frozen for the most part. Why is he not dying? There is... Whoever starts off with poison, I think it's the Shadow. The Shadow goes fairly well, and you can just poison him and just stay and beat on him. I think you can kind of stun him sometimes with the Marauder. Let's see here. I do go through and talk to everybody. I'm a little OCD, I think. I hate seeing the little exclamation points, so I make those go away. And now we're going to have to choose. Let's see here. I want to do a lightning skill. So we're going to look at, say, we could do Lightning Tendrils or Smite. We got Glacial Hammer. I don't want that. I don't know that I want Smite. I think I've liked Lightning Tendrils, so let's just start with that. We're also going to need to gear up, so I need to go buy some stuff. When I first started doing this and taking the various characters through, I didn't spend a lot of time working on gear. I tried to pick things up as if I was going through the campaign for the first time. As I've gone through, I've decided I don't really care. I just want to, I'll spend some currency on this. I'll roll everything, get some extra sockets and stuff like that. I'm in Trade League, so I don't have to worry too much about currency. I can go through the currency exchange, build up some extra. I'm not worried about that. And it makes going through the campaign a little bit smoother. And you kind of get a feel for how good the build is going to be. So this is how I'm going to approach this. This is going to be level 5. So I'm going to go ahead and take that and roll it. This gives me a little bit of increased LE damage right off the bat. I'm going to do energy armor and energy shield. I think that's what I want to focus on. So we need to find... we could do evasion and energy shield. I definitely want to push energy shield first. So we'll try to find, this is 37 and 13, so we'll take that. Let's see, we need, what kind of shields do we have? These are all just extra life and things like that. We probably want extra life, but that's level 5. This is going to be extra spell damage, which we're going to be running spells, so we'll take that. And evasion and energy shield. Looks like that's what we're going to be stuck with, is evasion and energy shield for now. We need some boots. Let's do... These are 4 and 2. These are both 4 and 2, so we'll take that. And I do want to run with a shield. Also, we're going to need some rings, amulets, and belts. So we're going to need extra mana. We'll do 1 life. We'll do 1 mana, and then we'll do this one for increased mana regen. And let's see, can we do any better flasks? No, but we're going to need a belt. So we'll do, let's see, this one's got 16 energy shields, so we'll take all that. We're going to need to scour off anything that has something on it. Make sure that they're all scoured. One thing that I've been using a lot of, and it took me a long time, I didn't think these orbs of binding were very good, but I've started using these a lot. So what they do, if you've never used them, is they convert an item over to max sockets. Well, I'm sorry. In this case, I can only ever have 3 sockets on them. Same thing with the shield. But even like these, I can't get this to any more than 4 sockets or any more than 3 sockets. However, if I use an orb of binding, it goes to 4 sockets. So I've been using those to create all the rare gear that I use, and it works out really good. And then we can use alchemies for everything else. Now, I also go through and add quality to everything. You can just do 1 quality on all these and 1 on that. Some of this gear I cannot use. We'll go ahead and quality this up, and then we are going to run this to get max sockets, and they're all linked too. So that helps out considerably. And with the gear that we have now, I can't equip that, but I can equip that. I can equip that. We can do the amulet. You can do the ring. And we can do lightning tendrils there. This we're not going to be able to do right now. Glacial hammer I don't care about. Elemental prolif we're probably going to use. Okay, so let's see here. What else can we go do? We can go to the hideout. We've got full access to everything. I need to figure out, I can't remember what skill that is. Absolution. That's the one I want to use. I like this skill. So this sounds cool. Damages enemies in an area, applying a debuff for a short duration. If a non-unique enemy dies while affected, the corpse will be consumed to summon a Sentinel of Absolution. This sounds cool. It does have the minion tag, so we'll be able to take advantage of that. That is going to be the skill we're going for. Again, I don't know how far this is going to go. We'll see. But that's going to be the one that I want to use. What else do we have? I need, let's see, what kind of auras can we get here? Nothing very early on. I don't really want Smite. I looked at Smite. Smite sounds okay. We're going to need Clarity. We are going to need, Haste is fairly far down there. That's level 24, but I'd probably take Haste. And we're going to need, let's see, a Lightning Aura. Probably do Skitterbots at some point, Wrath. So I have never messed with lightning at all. So I'm probably going to try to work Wrath in, I think. Maybe Purity of Lightning. We need to do Purity of Elements probably at some point. We'll grab that one. So what I basically do is I set up my sockets to go out into the world and go fight. I'll have an idea that I want to use certain skills and certain auras and stuff like that. So I will go and buy things that I think I want, and I'll just bank them. A lot of times what I'll do is order them. So there's level 10, there's level 16, there's 24, that's 24, this is 24, that's 24, and that's level 12. So somewhat in this generic or this general area is how we're going to equip things. And I try to equip them in order. As I equip all this stuff, these will go off on this side. You'll see how that goes. It's not like this isn't some incredible rocket science. We can do LE Prolif, chance to freeze, shock, and ignite. We want that. This does not support lightning. Chance to bleed. Chance to bleed is very helpful early on. Chance to poison is helpful early on. Prismatic Burst does not apply. Arcane Surge does. So what I'm probably going to do is go ahead and socket that, and that. Poison support, I'm not going to worry about changing the color of this. So we're going to have Lightning Tendrils with Elemental Prolif, Arcane Surge, and Chance to Bleed. I don't think we can get any kind of movement skill yet. Minion speed support might be kind of cool. Yeah, we might grab that. We'll see. I don't know what to expect with any of this stuff. I don't want support. I want actual gems. We can get Dash at level 4. We can get Frost Blink at level 4. And I know some of these quests reward it. Lightning Warp, I want to try out. That's a movement skill I've never used. So we should be good to go. Okay, I did really quickly craft on 10% increased movement speed, so we're not horribly slow, and we do have a point to put in. So what I want to look at, we've got max life, increased mana regen. We could go over here for increased damage, increased elemental damage. I think this is the way I want to come up, is through this way here, damage and mana. So we're going to increase our damage, and I think that's what I want to go with for now, because that'll put us right at Retribution. If I was to back out of these, I could go over to these int ones later on, but for right now, I don't know anything about this, how this build is going to turn out, so we're going to go through this way here and end up with Retribution. That's what I want to go for. I don't think we're going to need accuracy because we're casting and stuff like that. I don't think accuracy applies to spells. I don't think we have to worry about that. Somebody said that in a previous video. So I'm going to be trying to come up for this, and we'll try to work our way through, maybe amplify. I definitely want to end up with Holy Dominion. Potentially Light of Divinity. Yes, I want to apply that. We'll see. All right, we need to get into this, and we need to come through here. So we're going to run through with Lightning Tendrils. I may or may not go into some of the things down, like this quest. I may not do this. Sometimes I'll do this quest down here. Sometimes I won't. It depends. I might come back to that one later. Right now, we're doing enough damage and killing things. I'm not terribly concerned with it. We're only level 2. Point into damage and mana. Point into elemental damage. We can equip Dash now, and, well, we could do Frostblink. Let's do Frostblink instead. I think that's the better one. We'll do that. We can also equip that and that, if I can get them in the right spots. And one more level, and we'll be able to start equipping some other stuff. For these guys, I would like to be a little bit more mobile. I would like to be able to have something ranged, or not have something that's so close up. Love to be able to just throw things out and not be near them. Let's see, so you don't get frozen. Let's see. Now, this may be a cardinal sin, but I look at the DPS on the tooltip that says 55.5. If I take this out and swap it, I now have 38.6. So I'm probably doing less damage. 2 to 14 lightning. This is 3 to 20. So this scepter is probably not anywhere near as good as what I've got over here. Even though it's got increased elemental damage, increased fizz damage, this probably has a little bit more increased fizz. So I'm going to throw that off to the side, and then just quickly organize these up here real fast. It's real easy to get swarmed in this place, so I try to kill everything off, and these guys will freeze you, so I try not to stand in one place for too long. I do have a little bit of elemental resistance with this, probably not enough, just 10% cold res, so it may not be enough to deal with it. I know there's some uniques that people use to get through this. I'm just rolling rare gear. What I find is if I stick to unique gear, I kind of rely on it a little bit too much. So I've been working on crafting my gear as I go. That way I get a better feel for how the build should run, if that makes sense. I was doing a lot of unique gear for a long time, and I've just kind of gotten away from that. Like all my secondary characters, I would run unique gear, and then at some point I would switch over. And what I find is that when I do switch over to rare gear, I end up basically at the point of I take a step down because I'm so used to the unique gear that I've been running that it doesn't feel good when I switch over. So like there's the particular unique boots that you can use that give you movement speed and freeze immunity, stuff like that. I just stopped using those. These guys I'm probably just going to skip out on. We're at the end. I don't need to fight them. I know there's a helmet that looks like this thing, the unique helmet the unique helmet that looks like that. I've quit using it. Same thing with the boots. I'll use them sometimes, but I've kind of gotten away from them for the most part. And we're going to take another gander at what skills there are. I possibly can equip something different. This is probably better armor and energy shield. So this is 29 and 10. That's 48 and 13. So we'll buy that. That's going to be level 8. We'll be able to go into that. I don't, this has already got 10% increased movement speed, so these are already better boots. I don't need to worry about the coloring because I can put Summon Holy Relic over there. We're going to move that to here. We can just swap these out. I don't get too caught up with this stuff. Stat-wise, as long as it's got, like, I'm looking for better movement speed. So we can just, oh, I wanted to sell this. Just get rid of that. I don't know if that's a big trade up or not. Actually, we need a helmet too. I have no idea if that's a trade up. I'm not really looking at it. I'm wanting to get into armor and energy shield. I want to start setting that precedent for whatever it's worth. Armor and energy shield. Definitely want that. It just keeps me on track for what I'm looking. Come on, right click. I just try to keep myself on track for the gear that I'm looking for. I don't re-roll stats or anything too much with this. A lot of this is just going to be whatever it is. Oh, I wanted to get a Quicksilver. I'm not able to turn in a quest to get one yet. And we're not really hurting on anything else, so we should be good to keep going. Oh, I know, I forgot. I wanted to check on what other skills I could use. So we've got access to Orb of Storms. And let's see, did we get anything else that's going to be useful? Summon Phantasm, I don't think I want. Probably take Infused Channeling, because this is a channeling skill. Do we have anything? Just Ancestral Call. This gives 20% while channeling. You take 8% less damage from hits. What I think I want to do is take this chance to bleed out. Let's see if we can get... Let's see if we can roll this all blue. We're going to do... Lightning Tendrils, Ellie Prolif, Arcane Surge, and Infused Channeling. This is not channeling, that's chaining. So let's put Summon Holy Relic over here. Let's do Orb of Storms. Arcane Surge. Holy Prolif. Chain is probably going to be out of the question. So another thing I want to try is Orb of Storms. I want to see what that does. This could be... Actually, looking at this, it could just be a skill that I drop. Let's take a look at what this does. Creates a stationary electrical orb that strikes enemies in its area of effect with beams of lightning that can then split and hit more enemies. Modifiers to cast speed. Casting this skill will replace the previous orb. So this basically does not look, I don't know if that's going to be a main skill or a side skill that I just drop as I go, but that looks useful. Just drop it and then do some more LED or more lightning. Looks like an interesting way of fighting. So you can throw this down and just apply more lightning damage as I go. Not sure. Again, I don't follow metas or anything. I tried that. I tried following people's POBs, and I'm not a fan of it. I don't mind following people's POBs, and there's definitely people that are far better at the game and far more knowledgeable than I am. I just prefer to try to play the game myself and see what I can learn and how to understand all this. So that's why I try out probably what looks goofy or odd or something like that. Maybe I'm making some rookie mistakes or whatever, but I would rather try things and see what doesn't work and what does work than take somebody's word for it. I hate when somebody says you just don't do that because that's not how it works, and then not offer any kind of an explanation of why it's a bad decision or why it doesn't work. I love to be able to understand why I make the choices that I make, and that's kind of why I'm rolling through this with all these different builds and doing everything that I'm doing, is just because I'm trying to understand things. And it helps me to understand it when I actually can sit down and focus on it and look at something and see why it's working the way it is. What did I just do? I thought that was a minion. Oh, that is a minion. Okay. What does this do? Holy Relic stays near you. Triggers Nova spell. Nova, but it doesn't say what kind of damage it is. I'll use some of these other skills like this Holy Relic and stuff like that. I might have that out for a while. In fact, what I probably want to do is swap this here so that I'm using that on that finger. And then Holy Relic whenever it needs to. Drop this here. Basically, the idea is to just drop as much down to kill things as possible. I'm not sure what constitutes a main skill and what constitutes a secondary skill. So this Orb of Storms might not be, it might be able to be a main skill at some point. There, we just dropped another one. Oh, you know what? It would be handy to take my next point. Let's see. What do I want to put a point in here? Life is probably going to become very important. I kind of want increased area of effect, though. Ultimately, I want to get over to elemental damage, which we could get there in multiple ways. I think life is probably going to be what I take for the moment. I know the next big fight we've got is basically this game's version of the Butcher, and I need to be able to withstand whatever he's got. So we are level 9. I always go the wrong way on this thing here. This is probably not going to be the best way to go. So Orb of Storms doesn't look like it goes out very far. It looks like it drops basically at your feet. So you can't throw it out any further than that. Let's see, go this way. Oh, I meant to look for a Quicksilver. Let's see, we're going to put a point into increased elemental damage. We're not going to be doing an attack. Oh, I got some stuff I can equip too. I don't need clarity. I'm kind of interested in trying Lightning Warp out. Let's see. So, probably want to go through both Holy Dominion and Light of Divinity. That adds some increased elemental resistance, increased damage, chance to shock. This adds increased spell damage and critical strike chance. I think I want to try to work on critical strike. Let's see. Minion speed I can't do yet. Absolution is level 12. And Absolution has physical, lightning, and AoE. So we could go through area of effect for that. Is this a spell? Is this considered a spell? It is. So I can basically take almost all of this. It is not an attack though. So I can't go through here. So we'll probably pick up a whole bunch of this stuff. I might shoot off to Light of Divinity. We'll go through Holy Dominion, probably come out this way. Maybe go through Devotion, potentially. Maybe come out this way. I don't know. We'll deal with that later. But just looking ahead a little bit. Okay, Warden fight. So let's see how this goes. Unfortunately, we have to stay fairly close to him. Why is this not working? That's not too bad. Nothing really good there to take, I don't think. Nothing that I want. All right, we're going to kill everything off here, and we're going to run back to town. Let's see if I can get a Quicksilver Flask. Let's see. Let's put a point into Holy Dominion. That's going to increase my elemental resistances, elemental damage, and chance to freeze, shock, and ignite. I'm more interested in the shock. There we go. Level 12. Let's run back to town real quick and make some adjustments. Okay. First and foremost, I think I want to take Light of Divinity. That's going to increase my spell damage, critical strike chance, things like that. And we want to see where Absolution is going to fit in. So Absolution is... Oh, can we get a... Nope. Guess we don't get anything. Can we buy a Quicksilver? Nope, still not. Okay, so Absolution's going to take a red socket. What we can do is sell this. And let's see here. We can only have 4 sockets, so let's take this one. I don't want to gut. One thing I don't do is, like, I've got lightning tendrils at 193 DPS on the tooltip. I know it's not right, but this is what I follow just to see how it's going to work. What I do is I look at this and I say, okay, I'm dealing 193 DPS. I want to swap over to Absolution. So if I put Absolution in, where is Absolution? We're going to get 105. So chances are it's going to replace the skill that I've got. But on the off chance that it doesn't, I want to check things first. Actually, you know what? We need to run over to Hideout. That way we can go look at all of our options. Let's see, what do we get here for support gems? For Absolution, we're going to get Chance to Bleed, I don't want. Added Fire, I don't want. Probably none of these for the moment. Could life tap it, but I'm not going to worry about that. Could do Arcane Surge and Elemental Prolift, so I could take the ones that I've got from there. Don't have to worry about channeling. Spell Cascade, less area of effect. I want more. Well, do I care about area of effect? I'm not sure. We'll have to see on that. Added Lightning I've already got. Increased Crit. Minion damage. Don't want to worry about fire damage. Okay, so we're probably going to want 1 red socket and 3 blues. That'll do. So we're going to put Absolution in. Let's see. I've already got Elemental Prolift. So this one does duration, physical, lightning, and AoE. So we're going to try to make as big of an AoE as possible, I think. We're going to want, I think I want Elemental Prolift. I don't need Infused Channeling. I think I'll go with Arcane Surge. And we'll do Added Lightning. And then we're going to swap this over to, where's Absolution? That's this one. Take that off of there. I'm not sure how I feel about that Lightning Warp, but okay, so we're going to run with this. And let's see how this goes. So DPS, I know there's numbers on here that show DPS and things that show you how much damage you can expect. I go by that. I go by the numbers. Same thing with POB. I'll look at POB and look at the numbers on it and everything. That's great. That's fantastic. However, actually playing the build doesn't necessarily feel good. There's times that I've had more DPS, but the builds felt worse. So I go by the numbers a lot of times, but I also go by how things feel. So if I feel like I'm going through a lot of, like this, I'm going through a lot of mana now. So I'm probably going to need to get some kind of mana regeneration in here, or efficiency of cost reduction maybe. I'm not sure. But I go by how things feel. So like this is starting to feel really good. I don't have to be up close. I'm starting to, like, this is throwing out the lightning a little bit further. This feels much better than Lightning Tendrils did, if that makes sense. So I don't have to be as up close and personal with this. I can stand out a little bit further and do a little bit more damage that way. So we're going to get rid of Lightning Tendrils. I'll get rid of Infused Channeling. I don't need that. Let's see what else. Lightning Warp. I might tinker with, I might keep Lightning Warp for the time being. I don't seem to be wanting to use it because this does have a delay in it, and I'm not sure I like that delay. I pretty much like being able to instantly go. I'm more of a Flame Dash person because it's a little faster. Or I'm sorry, it's not a little faster necessarily, but I can get more uses out of it. Yeah, see, those things are doing a lot of work in the background. The other thing is this this Absolution skill may work great for the first few acts of the campaign. It may be fun here, and it may be terrible when you get further, or I may not be able to scale it very well. That's those boots, whatever these things are. But all that damage is coming off. Like, I'm doing a bunch of damage out. What boots are these? Wanderlust things. I've kind of gotten away from using those. Yeah, see, this is what I liked about Absolution. When there was a whole bunch of lightning skills that looked really cool, but this one looks like you can do a lot of damage all over the place, and that's what drew me into it. Got another level. Let's see, decision time. So I want to end up over with Divine Judgment and the minion side of everything, so I probably want to come off. The Staff Mastery I'm not going to worry about. We'll probably be using something else. We'll probably be using a wand for the most part, or a scepter of some kind. So we're going to want to come up this way. I guess we'll go through Faith and Steel. That's going to give me increased maximum energy shield and armor, which is why I wanted to go for what I'm doing. So that's why I'm coming up this way. We'll end up with the Spiritual Aid at some point. I think we'll go into that first. So this is what I'm doing. I could do this in POB. I could certainly look at all this, but looking at it here, this is probably the general direction that I want to end up, is over at Spiritual Aid. And then we're probably going to end up down with Divine Wrath. So that's why I'm going up this particular direction, that's where I think I want to be. All right, drop a portal, and we are at Mervale. Let's see how this fight goes. Probably should move around a little bit more. Out of mana. Yep, missed. Where'd she go? And that fight's done. That is going to do it for this episode. We will have another one for Act 2 coming up. So that's going to do it for this video. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.